Hey yo, Johnny-Damon here. We're racing at eRacing Pro Series at Zandvoort. As you can see, I'm making some adjustments to my strat. I have to go a lap over. Usually I can burn, 2 laps of fuel here. You'll see that later on in the video where I'm just saving all the fuel. Qualified poles, so I'm going to start on the front row, put down a lap time of a 1:11.110. We got 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are holding for a long period of time. Go, go, go! Green lights are out. As you can see me going down into turn 1, I got a really good jump, but you look at the Red Bull in the mirror, he gives me a little shove to the outside. And at this point, I got caught up with the Mercedes. I dropped him first all the way down the field to 10th. Knew this was going to be a little bit of some battling to get back through the field. I got right around the outside of Toro, and then my teammate follows through Wolfsburg. Now we just got to follow up on TFM Flynn. I have a lot more pace on these guys. I out-qualified by 0.2 of a second. A little slow through this corner. But I saw the perfect opportunity. Titangus goes to the outside. TFM Flynn goes through the inside. Did not take that, even though I probably could have drove it a little bit deeper. I'm still following him for some time here. Making sure I don't lose any more positions. Keep that gap of a 0.4 of a second. But I'm going to follow TFM through the field. Start kind of picking some of these guys off one by one. Coming around the final corner to complete lap 1. And you got somebody slow-so going into the bots. Almost thought about making it 3 wide, but I knew Flynn had him on the inside, so I can kind of just squeeze in underneath him. Saw the little bump there. I kind of moved over, hoping to give some space there. Middle line to the outside, my preferred line in turn 3. 3 and 4 at least, I should say. But I know here I can at least get closer and closer. Almost went around right there. Saved it on the curb. That was shocking because usually I'm going to bin it. All practice, all week. That's where I was spinning out. It's actually surprisingly the only time I hit that curb, which was shocking. So Flynn and I are just going to keep driving up to the back of Fott's shots here on lap 2. See Knick-Knack Paddywhack go a little wide. So I figured this was my opportunity to hopefully close the gap and capitalize somewhere. And the Red Bull actually had some wing damage too after that first lap when he gave me that little nudge. You see I use a lot of overtake. It's so hard to regenerate the overtake, but the race pace is so crucial here. I need to get back up by these guys so I can kind of start working towards the leaders. A little too wide action here. Use some ERS, got to the inside and around the outside, a little squeeze, and I just stayed wide. Here we go. I'm going to do a switchback right underneath him. I'm going to make the dive into the corner, and I stick it. So he's still there. I know he's still there, so I'm just going to keep driving. You see Knack go a little wide again. Flynn gets through the inside of him. Finally got the DRS. So he was able to complete the move into P5. Knack is still struggling with that wing damage on the soft tires. Trying to figure out, this is a perfect opportunity for me. Got to poke a little bit to the inside. Just wanted to hold my line there. Get right up onto the back of him, open up that DRS, and right by him I go. I shut off the button early because I have that DRS, so I keep it down to the inside, stick my line, slides right in behind me. Now I just got to follow TFM Flynn for a little bit. Hopefully you can close some of the gap on Racer. Didn't really gain much time. I knew with the DRS open, I had to be able to make a move here quick, because if I didn't make a move, guys up front were going to continue to pull that gap. Follow him again through another corner. Open up the DRS and hopefully I can close that gap a little bit here. Hard on the brakes, missed that curb around this corner pretty well. I noticed I wasn't shifting down to second gear, which was kind of causing me a little issue, but lose some time coming out of the corner. So now I open up that back button, the back DRS, and here we go. We're going to try and get some time on him here. Peek down to the inside. He does not want to try and protect it. I was hoping to be able to get on the inside of him here. Managed to maintain his line. A little wide entrance so I can get a nice tight exit. Still following. That's the first 5 laps for you guys. Just trying to maintain my pace. You can see the gap building a little bit. You gained about a tenth and a half, 2 tenths here since we've gotten up to P3 and 4. Now I realized I really needed to make a move. So I'm going to open up the DRS again. I know I'm close enough. Thought about maybe going to the inside there, but I didn't want to cause any issues, so I kind of slid back into position. Forced him a little wide on the entrance there, so it kind of helped me out, keep that gap close. Now you see DRL Racer S is 4 seconds ahead. I got the DRS opened up, no ERS, but I was close enough to be able to get that slipstream on him down into turn 1. Completed the pass. I think he was looking for a little bit of a switchback, but held my line pretty well. So now I just wanted to be able to get out of that 1 second gap on him here. So he had no DRS, and took a few laps to do that. But once we opened up that 1 second gap, we were able to maintain all the way through. Some of these guys have a lot better corner speed than I do, but I had a little bit more straight line, so that's what allowed me to make some moves early on, get back up to P3 on the podium. But from here, I'm just racing hard, trying to close the gap, but you're going to see a little bit of a switch here on the fastest laps, and DB put one up with a 1:14.8. Came across with a 1:15.1. Fortunately, it was holding it open. So lap 9 here, you can see I just put down the fastest lap. I don't remember of a 1:14.748. So I'm hanging on to the fastest lap, hopefully trying to close the gap. But I'm also outside the DRS range for TFM Flynn behind me. He actually did a really good job maintaining that gap behind me. I did make a small mistake at one point to where he got it back down to a second, but I didn't let it get any lower than that. So you can see DRL Racer S is starting to close the gap on DB the best. And got him about 1.1 seconds now, so I knew eventually they'd start battling. The pressure kind of anteed up on both of the drivers. 1:14.647 and 1:14.423. That comes through with a 1:14.9. So I lost some pace on that lap. Also, if you look, I don't really have much battery to play with. Less than 10%. So they maintained a 5 second gap over me through the first, I'd say 15 laps or so. The corner I used to actually be really bad at getting speed through there, but I kind of figured it out. Once I went to no TC, no ABS, it definitely helped. Next season I am planning on releasing some more content, just no line. Once F123 starts, I'll be racing with no line, so I'll be doing a lot of practice on
No
getting that
way.
dialed in once the game comes out. You see DRL Racer S just went around, and I almost lost it there. This is where TFM Flynn closes the gap a little bit, down to 1.1. Got me at a second now, and from here I do it with go time. I had to get rolling here to try and catch DB. DB the best ended up boxing for some new tires, so I was able to get by him for the lead. At this point, I'm pushing because this is my last lap on these mediums before I have to pit for some new tires. Usually I don't run my tire temperatures that high too. I was at 214 degrees on the left front. That's pretty high. I like to be around 200, but this track I could run a little bit higher tire pressures and be okay with it. So we got the gap up to 6.3. I knew I was still growing the gap between everybody behind me. DB's still in that 17-second range off of me, so this pit stop had to be perfect in order to even have any opportunity at this. So he's going for the overcut just because he bought 2 laps prior to this. What I really should have done is I could have stayed out a little bit longer on the mediums, but figured, hey, gotta go now. And that's what I did. So I'm going to box for the hards here. I knew it was going to be close coming out of the pit. I want to say it's like 18, 19 seconds. So like he's around the outside on the pit exit, and I just saved it there. Now I'm on cold tires. I got him under a second, but I'm not very good playing around with some cold tires. Working on that pace, but he's able to grow that lead back out to 4 seconds to where it was before. I knew I had to get these tires warmed fast because see Flynn's right behind me. His tires are already heated up. He boxed before I did. Hopefully he's trying to make an undercut. But it didn't work out. It kind of worked more in my favor. So I'm pushing nice and hard, trying to close this gap on DB. He's got me at 3.1 at the end of this lap. And I know that I have to start picking up some pace. So every lap I'm going to be on the button, regardless of how much I have left. Get a little bit on that curb there. It kind of got me a little nervous. DB's at 3.5. So lap 24. Started to realize I need to start saving some fuel. Saving some fuel. Because at this point in the race, I'm getting pretty low. And the fastest lap comes up on the board of a 113.8. This is where I seem to be making up some of my time in this whole sector. Sector 2 I was pretty quick through. Sector 1 and Sector 3 I could maintain it, maintain the gap. Down to 3.4 now, using some ERS. Brake nice and hard, over the curb, down to second, back up to third, short shift. You can see we're closing the gap a little bit.
he goes.
And DB goes around, so now I have taken the lead on lap 26. So you look at my fuel, I'm at 0.04 laps of fuel over. I started with 1.2. So in 26 laps, I'm out of fuel. And DRL Racerettes is not aware of that. So I'm just maintaining my fuel as much as possible and trying to keep up on my own pace.
Good.
Lap 31, still maintaining some fuel here. Hasn't really saved any to be able to get to the end by pushing. So I was hoping to maintain the gap, maintain the fuel, which I'm doing great. 5.5 seconds. So right now DB has the points lead. I'm sitting tied for 4th. Yeah, I was tied for 4th in points going into tonight, 28 points out of the lead. So this is a big race for me. I had no wins on the season. One podium, one DNF. This is round.
Is that you, Johnny?
No.
This is round 6. So after 6 rounds,
Zach
that
is
goes in the
intentionally
wall
trying to wreck
twice
himself,
there.
dude.
Back marker. Thought a safety car was coming out, so I really had to continue
No, I'm
to
good.
just
I'll be able to
push.
make this
Lap
last
35, going into the final lap.
No.
Final lap,
0.02 over.
DRL Racerettes 3.5. So I finally decided to tell him I was pretty low on fuel, probably 2 or 3 laps ago. And came down to, he was pushing extremely hard, but I was just trying to maintain the gap. Be able to get to the end on fuel, using all that ERS. Nice and tight through the right-hander. Almost hit the curb, but I managed to stay off it. He got me down to 2.7 right now. So 3.5 to 2.7. He's still closing the gap. Him and I were joking at this point, wondering if he was going to be able to catch me. He thought I ran out of fuel by now, but I'm just maintaining. Just trying to maintain to the end. Coming around. We're about to hit the last corner.
Trust me, I've been doing the same thing every lap.
And we're going to take home the win.
Every lap. I was at 0.00.
If you guys really enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at DamonContoys2. Be all right below here in the video. But P1 took home the win after a rough start.
That was fun.
So I appreciate you guys all following. Hope you all have a great day, and like and subscribe. Thank you.